Hello, folks. I'm going to do a 2.2 lesson today, followed by 2.3. This is going to be fairly quick. Remember, be a much more detailed version during our Zoom. Okay. So we're going to start solving equations, and I'm sure you guys remember this stuff from before, because I know you've all solved equations before. Remember, the equal sign, right? Whoops. That does that all the time. The equal sign here is our boundary, right? That's what determines, all it means is what's on the left side is the same as what's on the right side, okay? So we have to keep these two sides equal. So that means if it's already balanced right now, this is the balance point, we could say. Let's say our scale is already balanced, the left side equals the right side. That means whatever we do to the left side, we have to do to the right side as well in order to keep it balanced. So we're going to go ahead and isolate the variable. That means get x by itself. I know you guys have done this before. So to get x by itself, we have to kind of undo operations. So we want this x by itself on the left-hand side. We have this 4, we don't want it. So the opposite of adding 4 is to subtract 4. But whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. Okay, 10 minus 4 is 6. I'm hoping that this all rings a bell. Now, when a number is next to a variable, that means multiplication. We want to get rid of this 3. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3. And the 3's cancel out on the left, and you get x equals 2. And that's our answer. Now, folks, I want you to realize you can check all of these on your own. I'm not going to require that you check it, but it's not a bad idea to get into, especially, test and quiz. If I plug this 2 in here, the original equation should work out. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. Okay? It works. It's right. Whoops. Now remember, during this video, don't hesitate to stop me anytime if you want to try some problems yourself. And then you can kind of check in a moment, okay? Now this is something we've talked about in our Zoom class, but well, there's a couple different ways you can do number 2. What I'm going to do, I want to get m by itself. I'm just going to get rid of this 5, just like we did above. So we have m over 6. Remember, negative 8 and 5 is negative 3. The opposite of dividing by 6 is to multiply by 6. But whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. So I hope that makes sense. And if I were to check it, negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. And negative 3 minus 8. Sorry, minus 5 is negative 8. Don't hesitate to use a basic calculator to help you with any of this arithmetic if you need to. That's fine. Okay? Again, pause me anytime. So here, add 4, because we want to get the 3x by itself. This is just like number 1. And then this problem down here is really just like number 2. So if you want to try this yourself, go back to maybe look at what we did in number 2 and see if you can do 4 yourself. I'm going to get the y over 4 by itself first by subtracting 3. And to get rid of dividing by 4, I have to multiply by 4. And that gives me 28. I could check that very easily. It's going to be right. Now this one here, this is a little bit different. This is a key part of our Zoom session for this lesson. So when I have these different fractions with different denominators, if you guys recall, to combine terms, you have to have a common denominator. And while that's all doable, and I'm sure you guys can do it, there's an easier way of doing this. We can actually get rid of all of the fractions in one step, okay? And then we can work with the equation without any fractions at all. So what you do is you look at the denominators and you see our denominators across the board are 7, 3, and 7. So 7 and 3. Ask yourself, what is the smallest number that 7 and 3 will divide into evenly? And I hope you quickly realize that 7 and 3 will both divide into 21. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the entire equation by 21. Now watch what happens. So when I multiply 21 by, I have to apply this 21 to all three of these terms here, okay? And I'm multiplying by the top and then taking the result and dividing by the bottom. It's actually easier to do the division first. Watch this. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And 3 times 5x is 15x. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 7 times 1 is 7. Don't forget to do this too. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Now, some of you might be more comfortable, but the work's a little bit harder. Multiply by the top. Watch, you get the same thing. If you multiply by the top first and then divide, 21 times 1 is 21. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 21 times 5 is going to be kind of a big number, right? It's going to be 105. But 105 divided by 7 is 15. So this equation here, I want you to realize, this messy equation with all the fractions, it's the same thing as this. We just changed how it looked. By multiplying everything by 21, we multiplied the left side and the right side both by 21. The equation's still balanced. And this is much easier to work with. I'm going to add 7. I get 15x equals 10. I have to divide by 15. I got x equals 10 over 15. But remember, 10 over 15, you can reduce those terms to 2/3. And that's it. That's a little harder to check, but you could use your calculator to check it. But that's kind of a cool way. So please don't hesitate to go back and look at this one again. It's way easier than probably anything you've learned before. All right, number 6. You see that our variables in the numerator. So what we want to do is get rid of this denominator first. So by multiplying by 2 on both sides, don't distribute this 2 to the top. You see, this 2 just cancels that out. So we have 6 plus m equals 20. Move the 6 over by subtraction, and there you go, m equals 14. Now it's a similar problem down the bottom, number 8. So if you want to try that one yourself, it's just like the one we did. In the meantime, I'm going to do 7. Now you got to be careful here. Remember, there's the negative 10m. You want to get m by itself. This 5 is positive. The opposite of a positive adding 5 is to subtract 5. Bring this down. Remember, there's a negative sign there. Negative 10m equals 2. Divide by negative 10. This doesn't divide. Remember, this is because it's a fraction that reduces to negative 1/5. And number 8 is, again, it's just like number 6. So we want to get rid of that denominator. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4. Remember, don't distribute. That just cancels that out. And I get 44 on this side. And when I subtract the 9, you get 35. Now, that's the 2.2 lesson, okay? I'm going to do the 2.3 here in just a moment. I know I went kind of quickly there, but remember, you can pause, rewind, you can watch this as many times as you need to. And I'm going to give a more detailed lesson during Zoom. This is just kind of a backup, all right? Okay, 2.3 coming up on a different video.